Are you a foreigner thinking about starting a business in the Philippines? Let's talk about that now.
Subscribe now.
So I often have people that get in touch with me. They say they're going to move to the Philippines. They know I have some businesses here and they're considering starting a business themselves, but they don't necessarily know what's a good business to start here. So I want to talk about that in this video. What are great business opportunities to start here? First thing I want to say is that there's a lot of businesses that common sense seems to say would be great to start here. For example, you might come and find that a lot of people don't have washer dryers, and so they're hand washing clothes, and you think surely people are sick of hand washing clothes and hanging them up. A laundromat would do great here. But once you look into the cost of commercial washer dryers here and realize that they're more than they would be in your home country, and you could charge less than you could in your home country, you start to see that it's just not a great idea. And there's a lot of other businesses here that common sense would tell you make sense. However, it's common sense from your perspective, coming from your country. It's not necessarily common sense if you're living here in the Philippines. So what are businesses that I've come across that I think are a great fit for people here? First thing I need to say is part of that depends on where you are going to live. If you live in a big city, some businesses are going to be more of a fit there. Or if you live in a province area, there's going to be businesses that are a better fit there. Now, what's a province area? If you're from Canada, you live in what would be a big area called a province, similar to a US state. But here, a province is just really kind of a small area, not very populated, not a big city. There's going to be some businesses that do better there and other businesses that do better in the big cities. So as we talk about these, I want to mention where I think they would be best. So my first idea is to start any type of very high-end business. Now, if you're going to do this, definitely you want to do this in a city, not in a province area. But what do I mean by a high-end business? What I mean is something that will have really excellent services or quality. It's going to be pricier, expensive. So examples of this could be a very high-end restaurant. It could be a high-end spa. It could be a high-end bar. Really any type of business where you're providing exceptional service or product is what I mean with this type of business. Now, why is that? A lot of people think in the Philippines, people are really struggling. The average salary that people make is maybe a little bit lower than other places. So why would you recommend opening up something that is really a bit more expensive than average? The reason why is that there's a lot of people in the Philippines that have a ton of money. Here where I am in Cebu City, for example, if you want to pay $40 for a steak at a restaurant, you can do that. If you want to spend a lot at an expensive spa or for beauty treatments, you could do that. However, these type of things are not really the rule here. They're more of the exception. If you lived in a bigger city like Manila, you would definitely have access to a lot more of these things. But in places like where I am in the Philippines, there's a lot of people here and a lot of money here, and there's not such a great offering for people that want the very best. So starting up a high-end business, whatever type of high-end business makes sense, would definitely be a great opportunity here in somewhere like Cebu City and in some other bigger cities in the Philippines. Second type of business that I would recommend starting here in the Philippines, especially in a city as well, would be an outsourcing type of business. So for many years, India was the outsourcing capital of the world, in the same way that many people will go to China if they want to manufacture things. They would go to India if they want to outsource services that human beings could do from offices. These days, more and more, it's the Philippines that's the outsourcing capital of the world. If you call for customer service or technical support or billing support, there's a very good chance that you're actually talking to someone here in the Philippines. Even if they sound like they're from your home country, chances are they're down the street from me in the Philippines instead of down the street from where you are. So you may want to look at different areas where you could outsource. That might be outsourcing things like digital marketing services, a lot of what we do. You could be outsourcing bookkeeping, so many services, really anything that you can think of to outsource from an office, you could outsource from the Philippines. So we've had clients, for example, outsource architects in the Philippines that have expertise in energy assessment. This helped them to provide excellent level service from architects here with an area of specialization and keep their costs down while making sure that the quality stayed high. So the only limitation here is really your imagination of what you could find employees in the Philippines to outsource services to other countries too. Third business that I would consider starting in the Philippines is a 24/7 type of convenience store. Filipinos really love getting snacks. There's so many places off the side of the road, everywhere you could imagine, a million 7-Elevens, where people are just picking up a bit of snacks here and there. They're not always going into grocery markets and places like that here too often. Even on break times, our employees will normally cross the road just to get some bread or some other type of snacks on their break. And this is really, I think, a great business, not because you're gonna make so much off of each product, but just the volume of people coming in and out every single day really makes for a very good business model. And I think it would be the kind of thing where if you had a great chain, you would really be able to start up multiple locations without too much need for labor or other things that would be difficult. Keeping track of inventory and all of those things, of course, you'd have to take a really hard look at. But I think that this is another great idea, whether you're in a city or even potentially in a province area where you could offer a lot of the everyday things that Filipinos are buying. Is really something I consider looking at as well. Another business idea that I would have that really could probably be just about anywhere in the Philippines, but especially in some of the bigger areas, would be a tour type of company. So there's so many tourists that are slowly but surely starting to come back to the Philippines. It's definitely not at pre-pandemic levels, but I see more and more foreigners here all the time. And a lot of those people are unsure of where to go, and once they're here, how to get there, and all these different type of things. And I've really come across a lot of really talented Filipino tour guides that would offer amazing experience to people coming over here on vacation or staying here for a limited time. And I think that it would be a great opportunity to provide just end-to-end service, picking up people from the airport, driving them to their hotel or wherever you booked for them, and just making sure that you plan out their whole itinerary of what they might want to do, making sure that there's people really knowledgeable to be able to give advice about creating their perfect vacation experience here. I don't see these type of services being offered that often, and there's just so many wonderful places here in the Philippines to go. So I think that you could target not only places like the US or Australia, but also places like China, Korea, other places where there's really just a ton of tourists coming from in the Philippines every year. Last but not least, if you are the type of person that's going to live in a province type of area, kind of more of a rural, small areas, there's other small businesses like animal supplies that I also think would be a great business in those areas as well, especially if you have a location where there isn't any competition or the competition is low. There's so many people that need that type of product, and it's really difficult to get if there's not one in the area. So anything like that where there's really a strong need in province areas but there's nothing there, I think is going to do very well even if the population isn't that high. So there's definitely a lot of other business ideas here to explore in the Philippines, but I wanted to talk about some of the ones that I don't hear people talking about too often that I think would be a great opportunity, especially for foreigners seeking to live here. Of course, you need to have a working permit and other legal areas like that to consider. I'm just talking specifically about different types of businesses that you could open here. If you have some other ideas about what businesses you think might work well here, or if you have any questions, make sure and drop a comment below. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? I'd love your support. And as always, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and take care.